Ladies and gentlemen, this is not a drill. The streets of Portland, it looks like a war zone over there. President Donald J. Trump, he's had enough. And he just unleashed the full weight of federal power. Armored vehicles are rolling in. National Guard troops are deployed, and Antifa is nowhere to be found. But here's a twist. It didn't start with the troops. In fact, it started with chaos. A radical mob, out of control, so blinded by their hatred for ICE that they firebombed rapper Ice Cube's tour bus, thinking that it was an immigration vehicle. Wow. Ice Cube's tour bus somehow mistaken for an ICE vehicle. Anyway, that mistake backfired big, and now the backlash has gone nuclear. And so make no mistake, folks, the crackdown has begun. Portland Democrats tried to paint their city as perfect, but Trump called it what it is, like living in hell. And now the footage doesn't lie. Federal convoys, boots on the ground, and an Antifa movement that suddenly went silent. So the question that we're asking today is this: did Antifa just get crushed for good, or are they hiding and they're waiting to strike back? That's the real question. Stay locked in, because what I'm going to show you guys today, this is going to flip everything you thought you knew about this fight upside down. Hit the like button, subscribe. We have a lot to cover. So America is finally waking up, unfortunately, to scenes that look more and more like a battlefield than a street city. Now, city street, I should say. The footage literally is flooding social media this morning. It's not coming from Iraq. It's actually not coming from Afghanistan. It's coming from Portland, Oregon, of all places, right? Armored vehicles rolling down the streets, troops are on the ground, and the order came directly from President Donald J. Trump himself. Why? Because federal facilities, especially like ICE centers, they have been under relentless siege from Antifa radicals. Trump said enough is enough. And unlike the weak-kneed politicians before him, he didn't just talk. He acted. In fact, he ordered DHS, federal law enforcement, and military support to secure these buildings, to secure these communities, and to finally put an end to the madness. Now, here's the kicker. As soon as the convoys arrived, Antifa vanished, gone. The very same mob that was boasting online about taking Portland back, the very same agitators who threatened a September 28th showdown, they melted into the shadows when they saw Trump's armored convoys rolling in. Now, that's not a coincidence. That is cause and effect. When strength shows up, weakness runs. Now, the question today is this: did Antifa just get exposed as a paper tiger? Is President Trump's bold move here today the turning point that millions of Americans have been waiting for? Well, we're going to see about that in just a second. But to really understand this moment and why this moment in particular matters so much, you really have to see the bigger picture, because this isn't just about Portland. This is about a nationwide epidemic of left-wing violence. Think about what we've seen in just the past few months. ICE facilities attacked, not once, but multiple times. Agents under fire. A man named Charlie killed in cold blood. His life just snuffed out because, simply because he stood for law and order. Free Palestine protesters weren't satisfied with waving flags. No, they had to torch the governor's mansion in Pennsylvania. So we've seen streets and mobs blocking ambulances, vandalizing courthouses, and threatening federal judges. This isn't protest. This is like insurrection lead, okay? And it's spreading like wildfire because the left has convinced itself that violence is not only justified, but it's required. So they've radicalized their base into believing that America itself is illegitimate, that conservatives are fascists, and that ICE is some sort of an occupying army. Now, ask yourself, how long was America supposed to sit back and just take all this? How many more Charlies have to die before a president says no more of this? Well, folks, that moment is now. That president is Trump, and this is the day where the balance of power visibly shifted. And yet, the media is going to try to tell you that this is somehow Trump's fault. They're going to blame him for amping up tensions, as if Antifa needed some permission to firebomb buses and attack agents. But the reality is pretty clear here. Antifa's violence created this response. Their escalation demanded a crackdown. Trump didn't light the fire. He's trying to put it out, and they won't let him. You check your smoke detectors, you check your car, but when was the last time you checked your Medicare plan? Now, this is why I partner with Chapter. They give your Medicare coverage a safety check to make sure it's working. Now, one of our viewers told us, she said, I didn't realize how out of date my Medicare plan was until I called Chapter and they reviewed it for free. Now, let me ask, are you just going to go ahead and leave it unchecked, or are you going to join the thousands who've already checked? Now, most people, they're calling the phone number right there on the bottom of your screen, or they're visiting askchapter.org/Ron. The telephone number is 909-563-8279. So let's break down exactly what President Trump did, because this wasn't some half-hearted move, folks. This was a full-scale directive. Trump told Secretary of Homeland Security, and yes, even the Secretary of Defense, that Portland was over siege. His words, protect ICE, protect our federal buildings, protect law and order. Now, this is why you saw armored convoys rolling down those streets, not just federal agents with riot shields, real military hardware. So this is the kind of decisive action that Democrats mocked in 2020, the kind of action that they said would never happen in America. Well, guess what? It is happening. And for once, it's actually happening on the side of law, not on the side of lawlessness. But let's be clear here. This order wasn't made in a vacuum. Portland has been ground zero for Antifa activity for years. ICE agents there, they have been outnumbered, federal courthouses vandalized, whole blocks turned into what Trump himself once called living in hell. So when he gave that order, he wasn't just protecting buildings. I mean, he was drawing a line in the sand. Attack the United States and you will feel the United States military. So the reaction, it was pure panic. Antifa went from bold threats online, we'll fight back, we'll shut down the city, to total silence on the ground. Because when they saw the reality of Trump's order, when they saw these vehicles and boots hitting the pavement, they realized their Molotov cocktails and spray paint don't stand a chance against an armored convoy. So this is the shift that people have been waiting for. A president who doesn't just wag his finger, he actually sends the cavalry. So while President Trump was taking action, Democrats, they were doing what they do best, lying to the American people. Case in point, you had Senator Ron Wyden of Oregon, as Trump described Portland for what it is, ravaged, dangerous, hollowed out. Wyden decided to actually post his own little propaganda reel. Glossy drone shots, sunny parks, clean sidewalks. The message, see, Portland is perfect. Trump is lying. Well, here's the problem. The people of Portland didn't buy it. They flooded his comment section with photos and videos of what the city really looks like in real time. Broken windows, graffiti-covered storefronts, federal officers clashing with masked mobs. I mean, fires, chaos, destruction. And the comparison started rolling in. Folks said it was just like J.B. Pritzker in Illinois, who shows off Chicago's sparkling skyline while refusing to acknowledge the blood that's running in the streets on the South Side. Now, same playbook, show the nice part, deny the crime, hope voters don't notice the difference. But America noticed, and it backfired. So instead of proving Trump wrong, Wyden's little video turned into a highlight reel of Democrat denial. Comment section completely roasted this guy. You forgot the crime scene, Senator. You missed the Molotov cocktails. You're showing us Disneyland while we live in war zones. This is the reality check, guys. Democrats think that they can just gaslight America, but when the truth is on video, when armored vehicles are literally rolling into Portland to restore order, no slick edit or photo op can erase the facts. So ask yourself this: who do you trust? You trust the senator posting the propaganda or the president sending troops to defend American soil? And if you thought things couldn't get any more insane, well, hang on a second, because we're about to turn this thing up a notch. This one is almost too crazy to believe. Antifa, in their rage and confusion, made a mistake that was so humiliating, so reckless, that it went viral worldwide. They saw a bus, they thought it belonged to ICE, Immigration and Customs Enforcement. So what do? They attack it. They firebombed it. But here's the twist. It wasn't an ICE bus. It was actually the tour bus of legendary rapper Ice Cube. That's right, guys. These so-called freedom fighters torched the wrong target. Photos and videos spread like wildfire. The flames, the smoke, destroyed interior. People couldn't even believe it. Millions of views. Endless commentary. One of the most famous artists, rap artists in the world, caught up in the madness because Antifa couldn't tell the difference between ICE and Ice Cube. Now, here's the bigger point. This wasn't just an accident. This was a symbol of the entire movement. They're not organized. They're not disciplined. They're not noble. They're angry mobs lashing out at shadows, destroying anything in their path. And in the process, they keep exposing themselves as reckless, stupid, and dangerous. Now, Trump's critics say he overreacts. But really? Does Trump really overreact? Tell that to Ice Cube, whose property got torched because Antifa can't really tell the difference between reality and fantasy. Tell this to the fans who almost lost their icon to an act of blind rage. This isn't protest, this is madness. And it just proved Trump right. So now let's talk about why Portland was ground zero for this entire showdown. So Portland has been known as Antifa's home base for years. Federal agents have warned that the city is a breeding ground for far-left extremism. They recruit here, they train here, they riot here. So, I mean, we saw it back on June 19th. Antifa stormed an ICE facility in Portland, clashed with agents, lasted for hours. I mean, Officers were pelted with projectiles, buildings were vandalized, chaos filled the streets, and back then, there were no armored vehicles, no National Guard reinforcements. ICE was left to fight a war with their bare hands. But that was then, and this is now. So today, President Trump has flipped the script. He declared Antifa a domestic terrorist organization. He's now using that leverage to mobilize federal resources, National Guard units, and armored convoys. So this isn't the Portland of 2020, where mayors told cops to stand down. This is 2025 now. The game is a little different. President Trump is making it very clear. Their home base is no longer safe. Now, think about the shift in power. For years, Antifa bragged that Portland was theirs, but now they're the ones that are fleeing. Their so-called stronghold has turned into a trap. They can't face the guard. They can't stand up to armor. They can't even win against a government that finally decided to fight back. And that's the heart of the story today. The tide has turned. Portland isn't Antifa's safe haven anymore. In fact, it's Trump's proving ground. And so now let's ask the question that's on everybody's mind right now in America today. Okay, where is Antifa? Where'd they go? Like for weeks, their online posters were everywhere. You know, they were bragging about a September 28th rally in Portland. The slogan was very clear. Feds out, ICE out. They promised a massive demonstration, a show of force, a moment to push back against Trump's crackdown. But where is it? I'm not seeing it. Here we are, September 29th, and Antifa is nowhere to be found. There's no rally, there's no mob, there's no crowds. The streets are quiet. The same people who were yelling, arm yourselves, fight back on Discord, they're suddenly silent. And that silence says a lot more than any speech ever could. Why? Because they know what they're up against now. They know that the National Guard is in place. They know armored vehicles are rolling through Portland. They know the President of the United States has declared them a domestic terror threat. And unlike past administrations, he means it. So are they regrouping? Are they hiding? Or are they simply just too scared to show their faces? Whatever the reason is, the optics are clear. The mighty Antifa army that once bragged about controlling Portland is now in retreat. So let me tell you guys, folks, this is what victory looks like. When bullies finally meet somebody stronger, they scatter. And right now, Antifa has scattered. But while Antifa runs, while they hide, while they lick their wounds, something even more dangerous is happening in Washington. Democrats, yes, the people who swore to protect democracy, they're taking Antifa's side. Chuck Schumer, Senate Majority Leader, basically stepped up to the microphone and vowed to fight President Trump's deployment of troops. His exact words, Trump is not king. Well, he said Democrats in the Congress would push back, they would block, they would resist, but think about it for a second, okay? Federal facilities are under attack. ICE agents assaulted, a rap icon's bus firebombed. And Chuck Schumer's response isn't to protect Americans, it's to fight Trump for protecting Americans. Weird. And this isn't just Chuck Schumer. Across the left, you hear the same rhetoric. Troops don't belong in Portland. Trump is overreaching. We stand with the protesters. They refuse to call Antifa what it is, domestic terrorism. Instead, they cloak it under the label of protest, and then they pretend that this is about free speech. But Americans aren't stupid. They see the videos. We see the videos. They see the firebombs. They see the armored convoys rolling in because local leaders failed them. And they see Democrats standing on the wrong side again. This is the split screen moment of 2025. President Trump rolling in troops to secure America, and Schumer standing at a podium defending the people that are burning the place down. And if that doesn't piss you off, I don't know what will. So now, let's not forget what Antifa themselves were saying just a few days ago. They weren't shy about it. Their posters and online chatter were crystal clear. Build community, organize, arm yourselves, protect your neighbors, fight back. And if that wasn't enough, some of their activists went even further. One post read, "The only way to defeat fascism is through violence." That's not me putting words in their mouths. That's their own words in their own channels. Now, here's the reality check here. While Antifa was talking about violence, Trump was mobilizing real force, not slogans, not hashtags, National Guard units, armored vehicles, DHS agents. The contrast couldn't be starker. On the one side, masked kids with Molotov cocktails, but on the other side, the United States military. So ask yourself, who's going to win that fight? Who's going to outlast? Like, Antifa already knows the answer. That's why the streets are completely empty. That's where their big showdown rally never happened. They can talk tough online, but when the guard shows up, they scatter. So this is the ultimate clash of fantasies versus reality. Antifa's fantasy of revolution, it runs headfirst into armored convoys, and reality crushes it every single time. But of course, as predictable as the sunrise, the media had their own take. And no surprise, they weren't blaming Antifa, they were blaming Trump. Turn on CNN right now. Turn on MSNBC, the usual suspects, And what do you hear? Trump is escalating tensions. Trump is radicalizing the environment. They trot out their so-called experts who claim that if Trump would just tone down his rhetoric, the violence would stop. Give me a break, guys. There was a debate that went violent recently. So used to saying the word violent. There was a debate that went viral recently between this 22-year-old Democrat YouTuber and conservative commentator Scott Jennings. The young liberal just kept insisting that all of this chaos was Trump's fault because, well, Trump amped up the tension 10 years ago when he ran for president. His evidence that Trump once again questioned Obama's birth certificate and had crowds chant "lock her up" about Hillary Clinton. Seriously? That's his case? That is the weakest case I've ever heard. Meanwhile, ICE agents are under fire. A man named Charlie is dead. Antifa mobs are firebombing buses, and somehow it's Trump's fault. I don't understand either. Jennings, he wasn't having it. So, of course, he fired back, demanding accountability. So, you're telling me a 29-year-old who climbs a building and shoots at ICE agents isn't responsible for his own actions? You're telling me Trump made him pull the trigger? Like, this is the insanity of the left's argument. They blame Trump for everything, even violence that's carried out by radicals who openly call themselves anti-Trump, but it's still somehow Trump's fault. So here's the truth. This isn't about Trump's rhetoric. This is about an ideology on the left that believes violence is justified, that America itself must be burned down and rebuilt in their image. The media can spin all they want, but America already knows the difference between cause and chaos. So now let's go ahead and deal with the elephant in the room, shall we? The claim that Trump could somehow fix all of this by giving one speech, one call for peace, one magic set of words. The media loves this fantasy. They say if Trump just got up and said, "Stop the violence on all sides," Antifa would just suddenly drop their weapons and go home. But that's not really how ideology works at all. And Trump already knows that. The hard truth here is this. Antifa doesn't believe in compromise. They don't believe in peace. They believe ICE is evil. They believe Trump is fascist. They believe conservatives, Republicans, even Christianity itself are enemies that must be eradicated. That's not rhetoric. That's the core of their worldview. So let me ask you guys, if Trump stood at a podium tomorrow and said, "Let's all calm down," would that really change their minds? Like, would that undo the years of indoctrination in online communities that preach violence as virtue? Of course not. Like, they would just laugh in his face. They would call it weakness. And this is exactly why Trump refuses to play that silly little game. He understands what too many politicians don't understand. You cannot reason with people who have already decided that you are illegitimate. You cannot negotiate with those people who believe you have no right to even exist. So instead of these hollow words, Trump brought these armored vehicles instead. Instead of begging for peace, he's imposing order. And the silence on the streets of Portland tonight, today, whenever you happen to be watching this, proves that strategy works. So now we arrive at this very moment. Look at the footage today. Armored vehicles rolling into Portland, National Guard troops standing guard outside ICE facilities, federal buildings fortified, law enforcement backed up with the resources that they need. And on top of the other side, well, silence. Mobs. Well, actually, no mobs this time. No rallies, no Antifa army charging the fences. The streets that were supposed to erupt in protest yesterday, oh, they're quiet. So what does this mean? Is this the end of Antifa? Have they been crushed once and for all? Or are they regrouping, hiding in the shadows, waiting for another chance to strike? That's the situation. That's the question that's hanging over this entire country tonight. Because for the first time in years, it really feels like the tide has turned. Antifa's so-called stronghold is under federal control. Their bravado has collapsed. And the people of Portland and America can see with their own eyes what happens when a president finally says enough. But let's not kid ourselves. This fight is not over. Antifa's not gone. The left still protects them. The media still spins for them. The radicals still whisper in their echo chambers about revolution. The difference now is that they know what they're up against. They know that there's a president who won't let federal facilities burn, who won't let ICE agents die in silence, who won't sit back and hope that it all magically gets better. So today, America saw what happens when lawlessness meets strength, and Antifa, they fled, they hid, they ran. So the question I leave you with is this. Are we witnessing the beginning of Antifa's end or just the calm before the next desperate storm? Either way, one thing is clear. In Portland, Oregon, Donald J. Trump just proved that it's not just about law and order. He's enforcing it. And Antifa, for once, had no choice but to run away.